ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Morning Cartoons. This is the new, improved, revamped episode for Jovan Armand. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen him in the middle. You've seen him as Cheesy Fingers in Zeke and Luther. I can't wait to talk about that. You've seen him in Bella and the Bulldogs, Sea Plum Run, SHAZAM, SHAZAM 2, Fury of the Gods, Los Americans, SNOWFALL, the Imogen Award winner in 2017 for Drowning, the short film, Baskets with Zach Galifianakis, Shameless. We have Jovan Armand, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing, my handsome friend?
Hey man, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the intro. Yeah, dude, I'm doing good. Thankfully, I've had a good run thus far, and I feel like, I just turned 24, so I feel like I'm just reflecting on that right now and really appreciating that, and to kind of go back and see all the old photos from like days on the set of Bella and the Bulldogs or the middle and SHAZAM. It's really cool, and a photo is like a trip back into the memories of being on that set. So it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm just super grateful for all the opportunities I've been blessed with. Thankfully I have a solid team that's protecting me and keeping me safe, and yeah, it's a good day to be here.
Hey, appreciate you.
Great,
Speaking of
man.
opportunities, thank you for joining us again for the podcast. It means the absolute world to us. But while we get into this podcast, we're gonna ask you a little bit of your shows, about your music. We'll get into the fan questions towards the end of the episode. But just overall to start, how you doing, buddy? How's life been?
Pretty good. Just kind of recovering from my birthday party. It was a crazy 3-day weekend for myself, but
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. So
That's awesome.
happy late birthday from the podcast boys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So you have made quite a career for yourself, not only in music but in acting, as we've seen in SHAZAM 1 and 2, Fury of the Gods. But even your small cameos across everything and your roles in TV shows longer lasting. What's been your favorite that you've done is just like a cameo?
I would say probably the middle, just because they were just so very welcoming. It's very intimidating, and I feel like tons of actors have spoken on this, but it's very intimidating when you're joining onto a series that's been going on for so long. At that time when I was joining on, they were about into like season 7, so they've already been together for years. They have that chemistry, that bond that's been kind of churned over time, versus somebody who's new, who's might not even be here tomorrow. You know what I mean? Coming in and trying to be a part of that. It's kind of this awkward thing where it's like, do I become close or like make a connection with this person, because am I going to see them again or not, or what have you? But you just never know when you're joining on a series, like what the environment is on set. But it was super dope. Everybody there at the table read was very welcoming before it even started. Like as soon as I left my trailer, I was outside waiting, hesitant to get into patiently waiting to get into the table read, and the lead, her name is slipping my mind right now, but the lead came up to me, the mother of Brick in the show,
Patricia Heaton.
Yes.
She came up to me and she introduced herself, which obviously she has no reason to. She doesn't need to. She's an amazing actress. But she took that time, that couple of seconds, to say, "Hey, welcome to the show, and I hope you have a good time at the table read, and great to meet you." And just that little exchange with her, and as well with Atticus and a couple of the other people, I feel like it really made it feel like I'm not a stranger. I'm here. I belong to be here. You know what I mean? It was reassuring, and I think that was probably the most pleasant experience as a guest star on a show.
Mm-hmm.
So when you came on to the middle, you were Troy, right? Was that your character name?
Yeah. Troy.
Okay, so you came on.
Forget the last name, but yeah.
When you came on, was it like, were you signed on for more than one episode, or was it like a pretty case by case, episode by episode kind of thing?
It was a potential for reoccurring kind of role, and they were specific about that in the beginning. But when they put that, it could be one episode, it could be 2 more. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean 3 more seasons, which is very fortunate that I was part of the seasons, even if it was sporadic, a couple episodes here and there. I was just happy to be back in that trailer with those amazing people and get to mingle with Atticus and bug him about what he's doing.
That's great. So did you have a pretty good relationship with Atticus then?
Yeah. That and Cindy, you know, his girlfriend in the show, we would
Yeah.
crack
Oh,
jokes
awesome.
all the time. And there was one scene I forgot. I don't even know if it made the cut because I don't remember. But there was a moment we were just talking about like cookies and in between shots, and Atticus was like, "Yeah, so I baked raisin cookies and nobody ate them, but that's fine because I like them," or something like that. And we were just going on about it, cookies, and then they're like, "All right, we're getting ready to shoot this scene. All right, turn around, blah, blah, blah." And then it's just
That's
those
great,
fun
man.
little interactions that sometimes on sets it's very cold and they're on their phones or they're rehearsing or they're in their
Oh,
head,
yeah.
but those little moments of just having fun is what I like. So
That's great, man. Yeah, that natural chemistry offset really like bleeds into the camera. Like that's great, man.
yeah.
Okay, so over the years, shows have come and gone for 6 seasons, a dozen. It hasn't mattered. Shows that are no longer airing. What is there any show that you would have wanted to cameo on, if it was still continuing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch, but to name just one, I guess I would say, if I had to just pick one that I would
You can
wish,
name a couple. Give me
right?
3 if you got it.
Okay, I would say Gotham is one of them.
I
Uh,
love it.
yeah, because that was the series I loved. I watched all 5 seasons. I was
That's a
ready
great
for
one.
6, but
Yeah, we all were.
And then what's another show? Sweet Life on Deck, just because that's pretty much, well, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody was the reason why I wanted to get into acting. And then obviously when they came to the older ages, they started to go over to the boat stuff, and Sweet Life on Deck happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that would be something that I would want a cameo in if I could. But at the time I was a kid.
I understand. With the reboots with things lately, from That's So Raven to the new Wizards of Waverly Place coming out, would you like to go appear on any new reboot? If they were to reboot a Disney show, would you like to go be on one?
I mean,
If
yeah.
so, which one?
If so, which one?
Like, obviously you said Sweet Life on Deck.
Yeah.
So if they were able to bring the twins back, would you like to come do something like that? You know what I mean?
Oh heck yeah! Any way to get on set with Cole and Dylan and stuff, of course, yeah, dude. I mean that was like my whole thing. Like when I was 4 years old, I would be watching that, and then I just told my mom, "Mommy, I want to be an actor." And then, obviously, it didn't start so early as 4 years old, but I convinced her right around the age of 8, and that's when we got the ball rolling.
Bro, I'd love to hear the full story, like how you got into acting fully and getting into your different roles and stuff,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I the dream started, or I got bit by the bug when I was like 4 because of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and M or Fum, those lines, they spoke to me. And I feel like right around the age of 6, my mom was like, "Okay, you said you want to get into acting. Let's see how serious this is. I'm going to put you in modeling." So she put me in modeling to try to scare me out of it, because she wanted to make sure that was something that I genuinely wanted and wasn't just, wishful thinking situation, and that I could actually handle it, So when I did the modeling, at first, yeah, I was very shy because I didn't think of myself as a model as a kid. I was just a kid. But
Sure.
then I started to see the outfits I was in. I was wearing some like Western stuff with the little bezels and the cow tie and the hat, and I was like, "Oh, Charlie, all right." And I was starting to dig it. I was like, "Yo, let's do this." So slowly I started to build a bit of confidence in myself in those moments, and it went from "Mommy, can you hold my hand?" to before I get on stage, to her freaking out and being like, "Are you sure you got this?" And I'm like, "Mommy, I got this." And then I get up on stage, I flex my muscles, and I put my glasses down. I send a wink to the judges, and I won a couple awards there: Mr. Personality, Best Western Wear. There was even a pageant that I went to that I couldn't win, but they were going to choose me as the winner, so I won second place, because I wasn't the right age for the grouping. I guess it was 6 to 7 or something, and 12 to 13. So they gave it to somebody who was the appropriate age to be a winner. Yeah.
Interesting. So you were just a natural from the start, man. I love it.
Yeah. So at that point, once that happened, she was like, "Okay, let's see what we can do." We heard something on the radio. They were talking about get your kids on the TV shows like Disney, Nickelodeon, this and that, radio. And it turned out to be one of those big old Ponzi schemes with Ron something powers. I
Oh
act, I
no.
sing, all that bullshit. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, so it was one of those things. My mom went into the meeting with them, and they sent me in an acting class that they were trying to make her pay for. Um, and I was just kind of bored because all they were doing was playing patty cake and hot potato. And I'm like, this is not acting. This is a daycare. What is going on? I want to act. I
Right.
want to act. I want to learn. I'm not here to play games. And I was like 8, you know. I was just a very serious kid. Like I don't
Damn,
know.
you're already that driven as a kid. That's incredible, man.
I know. Like at 8 years old, dude. I didn't cry until like I was 6 or 7, I think, because my mom pinched me and she wanted to see if I could cry. 'Cause she at first she was confused. She thought I was an alien or something because I just wasn't crying. I wasn't a complainer of like a baby. So
Yeah.
she pinched me and then I started crying. She's like, okay, he's normal.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I love it.
Get this kid in front of a camera. He's got it.
Right. So yeah, man, that's a bit of how it started, and I worked my way up for sure. I did a lot of extra work, a lot of background work. I saw the ugliness that went into those political atmospheres in the beginning.
Mhm.
You know, it's changed a lot now. I feel like there's a lot more respect and a lot more humanity in the sets nowadays than back then. You know.
Yeah. Social media has put out a new like level of law that like it's very hard to keep under the radar nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
TikTok especially, like there's a different level of access to behind the scenes type of things. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
people
It's a lot
leaking
different. It's
photos
changed the
for
culture a
superhero movies.
lot.
There's no way they're not going to leak that Ellen DeGeneres is very mean to people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
I mean,
kinda thing's
I
hard to
had a
keep under
grown
wraps.
woman come up to me and be like, move from there. You're getting in my shot. Like, and she was at background. And so
Oh,
like I was background as well, but the director saw that and he came over and he said, what's your name? I told him to do that. So don't block him from doing that. Okay. I told him to go from there to point B. All right. And I didn't have to do anything. The director took, took the
Mhm.
time to do that. But it's just crazy how it gets. Sometimes there'd be moments where it's like, oh, why are you cutting in the front of the line? Blah blah blah. It's like, well, he's a minor. It's not anything about being special or whatever. It's, the kids got to eat.
Oh no.
there's
And they
laws.
A lot, yeah.
those things are different. Like the kids eating because they have to do schooling. They
Right.
take their food and then they go to the schooling side and then they do the banking of the hours for the schooling and all that. So that it was a little hectic in the beginning, but once we started to see the environments, we got familiar with it. We had to keep our heads down a lot in the beginning.
Mhm.
But things are changing and there's a lot more respect.
That's
That's great,
amazing. So you have worked for Disney and Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And I understand you still want a job after this. But which one did you enjoy more, Nickelodeon or Disney? Because you were on Bella with the Bulldogs for what was it, 13 episodes or 12 episodes?
I
remember off the
believe
top of your
I
head?
believe 13.
It genuinely frustrates me so much that it did not get a second season. My sister and I watched that together every single episode. My family, we used to play a game of cable, the free 3-month cable for the summer while the kids were home from school, and then when school was ended, they weren't paying the subscription anymore. So I remember my sister and I would wake up and watch Bella with the Bulldogs, and it was so damn good. Just as a Nick show, I thoroughly loved it. And I have said we're on was it 91 or 93?
93, I believe.
90 episode 9 was 93 episodes. I have confidently said one of my favorite shows from Nickelodeon or from Disney that is underrated is Zeke and Luther. It got me into skating. It got me into a new level of friendship. And the fact that you were cheesy fingers, man, is the craziest thing in the world.
I told you, right? From the ground up, baby.
Mom, no kidding, dude. That was I was like, cheesy fingers. Why do I remember that? And I looked at the title last week when we were doing research when he told me that he had reached out to try to get the interview again, and I was like, man, why do I remember cheesy fingers? And I was like, Zeke and Luther, let's go, baby. I texted my cousins because that's what got all three of us into skating. And yeah, that makes me so happy. So. Sea Plum Run, Trey Los Americans. Can you explain Trey Los Americans for the fans and for us? because we have not seen it, but you were in a multitude of episodes. And I would like to, would you mind explaining the story of everything?
Los Americans is a web series. That one, the director, Dennis Leone, he, he wasn't sure at first if I could do it in the auditions because I was struggling to cry on cue in the beginning. But it's very hard to balance your nerves and stay in the scene and all that anxiety that's there when you're not trying to f up, So I'm in the room and stuff, and then I asked him, can I just get a couple minutes with my mother real quick? I just want to get some coaching, and he was like, sure. So he gave me that time. I went over there. My mom said, just put yourself in an environment where it's something sad, like a puppy got ran over. It's sad, but that's what would make you cry. So.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's just what I was envisioning. Obviously, the scene is dark in itself. My mother is being sent back to Mexico or back to wherever our family was in those series. I don't remember, but she was being deported. The ICE was called on her at a house family dinner party that we were having in the web series, and I'm kind of like yelping and crying, and it's a very serious, very dramatic, emotional part of the scene. And then there's another scene where it's a two-shot of me and Raymond Cruz from Breaking Bad, who's a legend, and he did a solid for me as well, because it was hard to get into the environment of needing to cry for the scene, because a lot of the people, the casting, or not the cast, but the crew around us were, just being crew, cracking jokes, having fun, enjoying the atmosphere. But for this scene, it required a little bit less of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of hard to set your mindset apart when between takes everyone is chopping it up and the environment is completely different when you have to shift into that mode. I understand. Yeah.
So that's what Raymond Cruz did, is he pretty much told everybody to like shut the F up, and they did because it's Raymond Cruz. So I appreciated that. Obviously, my mom came over to coach as well because she was my coach at the time, and she was helping me with get into these scenes. And with that extra step of him thinning out the crew as well, he asked half of the crew to leave. Only he could do that. I was an 11-year-old, I was just like, thanks.
Yeah, man, he really had your back. That's awesome.
He did, and he was very genuine. I feel like that web series was vital to my career, because not only did I get love from Raymond Cruz, I got love from Isa Morales, I got love from Lupe Ontiveros, the late Lupe Ontiveros. She was very genuine, and she told me, I don't like kids, but you can sit right here. And she would let me sit next to her in between scenes, and she would just tell me like the words of advice. She said, "Mijo, the day that you stop learning is the day that you should quit. Always remember that." And then go back to talking to her hair and makeup person about what she wants done. She would just drop bombs of knowledge and then go back to work. So it's just super cool environment. I feel like that was very vital, to be surrounded by Latino legends to kind of help mold where my path is.
Did you ever get to work with somebody from that production again?
Unfortunately, no, but I've ran into Raymond Cruz a lot, especially at premieres. I ran into his premiere at La Llorona. That movie was sick. I enjoyed that one.
It is terrifying. It's just like growing up, like, no, my mom still won't watch it. She's like, Mijo, I'm not doing it. No, I won't.
Yeah, they did some good promo for it, the marketing.
Yeah. What was the like the casting and auditioning process like for the Shazam movies?
For that one, it was relatively shorter. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I auditioned for some Marvel stuff, and that took like five auditions. But it was 2 different Marvel projects. It was the one that I got the closest, which was the 5 auditions, was Spider-Man, and that was to play Ned, I believe.
Shut
wow.
up, dude. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I mean, like I said, I've been very blessed. I worked my way up, and that was a very vital audition. I was sick for that audition too. Like that was the other thing is I was in between, like, after the second audition, I had a meeting with the director, but he was busy in a board meeting with Marvel and Stan Lee and all of them, and then blah blah blah. So I had to go over to his office. So I went over there after my audition, and we drove over there. We drove up to the gate. I had to go up, sign up, scan. They scanned my face, and they like they signed me in or whatever. And then it said I'm like Jovan entering Marvel office, and I'm like, okay, cool. And
Oh wow.
and yeah, so it took me to his office, and there's this big bust of Batman and a bust, or not Batman, of Iron Man and some other bust that he had, just cool like artwork and stuff everywhere. And I was like, wow, this is pretty sick. And he's like, oh yeah, thanks. So I want to get you ready because we're gonna get you going with the chemistry with Tom Holland. So I need you to be prepared. This is what and he was just breaking like
Oh
he
wow.
just went straight down to informative, and I was like, okay, this is what I like. Let me just sit here and listen. So I was just taking it all in. You know, I gave him my take on the script. He liked it, but he said that he needs me to tweak it for the other people, for the writers. So I was like, okay. So he wanted me to stay more onto the script, and I was like, okay, because I'm a person, I like to improvise a lot whenever I can, but
Hmm.
out of respect to the writers, I don't do that all the time, but especially for auditions. But yeah, so he was basically prepping me before the chemistry read. I did the chemistry read, and yeah, I was on a veil for a while. It was down to me and one other person, and then Oh, and I also did audition for the Deadpool one, the fire hands guy. Yeah.
Oh man, fire! That would have been crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
The
was
fire
crazy.
that
fist.
one tripped me out because the audition, the guy started moving with me, and like I was like, yo, what, are we doing the scene right now? I was like, what's going on?
Oh.
So that was a trip that it threw a whole wrench in my operation. So I messed that one up, but oh well.
It's all right.
Back to the Shazam. How was the casting process and auditioning and stuff for that? I don't think we got
Yeah,
quite
so
into that.
I did one audition initially. There
Hmm.
was very vague on the details. It just said some type of purple or black lightning comes towards you, and it stops inches away from your face, and there's a reaction there, and you just say "kick his ass, Mark" or something, or like it was just some
Yeah.
phony lines and phony script and everything. But because I was already involved with these characters in my video games, because I love video games, so I played Injustice: Gods Among Us a lot. It's a fighter
Of
game,
course.
similar to like Street Fighter, I guess, or Mortal Kombat rather. Um,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So Injustice: Gods Among Us, I was playing that like crazy. Shazam was actually one of my mains, and I learned the whole combo
Love
and
it.
all that. So at like when I was reading the script, I was connecting the dots myself. I was like, this has to be either Shazam or Black Adam. It has to be one of the two.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of where my head was at. I was like, okay, what character could it be? Maybe it's like some friend to him, like in the same way that Ned is a friend to Spider-Man or whatever. In that universe, I was like, let me see what I could do, to kind of use my knowledge of what Shazam has, because I didn't even know where they were going with it. I didn't know it was a New 52 style thing or what, you know. But yeah, so yeah, the first audition was very basic. I feel like I did okay. I didn't feel like anything crazy. Like it's funny how it works. Sometimes when you don't feel like you did good, is the ones that you get, and the
Oh
ones that
yeah.
Oh
you feel like
yeah.
you did good are the ones you don't get, which is weird. Because I had
It's
three
the same thing.
auditions that day, and
It's the same thing with music. I understand.
yeah, so I had three auditions that day. Another show, it was some show, and it was two shows, and then the Shazam one. But I did that one. And then they called me back, I think a week later for the callback. And the director was in there, David Sandberg. He was just sitting on the couch chilling. He introduced himself. I said, hey, what's up? He said, all right, so there's not very many lines for this character, so I'd rather try something else. If you're open to that, I'd rather interview you as the character. Would you be open to doing that? And I was like,
Oh,
yeah, just give me a
interesting.
couple seconds and I'm down. He's like, okay, take your time. So I just kind of gathered my thoughts of what I built up for this character, given the descriptions they gave me, and they gave me a little bit more with the callback, which I appreciated. Um, so from there, I was just like, let me just tap into my younger self, because I was very much a shy kid in the beginning of my journey. When I was 8, 9, and in elementary and everything, I was very shy, especially because I was getting bullied a lot in school.
Hmm.
So I was using that that childhood memory as the character, basically. Because nowadays, with the career that I've chosen, you got to kind of force yourself to be an extrovert if you're an introvert, you know.
Fair
So
enough. Yeah.
yeah, at that point, I said, all right, he's a shy kid. He's Latino. I know that part. Let's let's see what we can do. Maybe let's make him funny in a sense. Maybe he's just naturally funny and he's not even really trying to be. Kind of like how I am sometimes. Maybe he's just me. So maybe I'll just be myself, mixed with a little bit of extra shyness because nowadays I'm not so shy. So
Right.
I kind of told him, all right, let's get it going. And he said, all right, let's record. So Pedro, or it was a dummy name, so it was like, Ben, what do you like to do? For fun, what are your hobbies? Well, I play soccer and like playing video games. You know, just very shy, very timid, almost nervous to be speaking with somebody else. And it helped that I was actually nervous for the audition to kind of channel that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Love it.
Able to use it to your advantage.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I did the questioning and answering stuff, and he never really moved. I don't feel like anything really touched him, and any of like, I was just not getting any, like, you know, usually when you go to an audition, you can see a facial expression, and you'll
Right.
kind of be like, okay, maybe he saw something, or maybe something clicked here, right? And you can kind of gauge that. But with him, it was very hard because he's not very expressive. It's a little different now, or well, at least in the second movie. Now that I'm on the set, he's more expressive. But in the audition room, he wasn't very expressive up until there was a point where I made a joke. So what video games do you play? I was like, Call of Duty. Tell me about Call of Duty. I was like, well, there's this guy named Captain Price, and there's this guy named Soap, and there's this other guy that his name is Ghost, and he's kind of like the cooler one, and Soap is like the sidekick to Captain Price. And I don't know all the Call of Duty lore, but I was just, you know, winging it.
Right.
And he was like, he asked me a really genuine question. I was like, oh shoot, I actually wish I knew this. He's like, so Soap, why do they call him that? That's an interesting name for a Marine. And I was like, oh, why do they call him that? Because he likes to keep it clean. Like when he murders people, he keeps it clean. I don't know. That's what I went with, and
I love it.
gotta chuckle out
I
of
love it.
He's like, all right, I think we're good.
Clean confirmed kills, baby. That's what we do around
All
here.
right,
love
that's
it.
why they call him Soap, because he keeps it clean.
Oh, that's genius.
That's great.
I love that, man.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a very interesting kind of thing. Like doing an interview with him as the person or as the character that he wants you to play. That seems kind of. Was that the first time you've done something like that for an audition?
I've done that in acting classes, but for an audition, that was the first time I've ever had to do that. And I actually enjoyed it. I feel like it kind of brings down the walls a lot more than having to worry about lines, you know, because then you are the guider of where the story goes.
Right. It's not quite so formal and stiff.
And
or whatever,
pre-planned
I
and
would
stiff, yeah.
imagine. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. So, oh my goodness, I just lost my train of thought. I was trying the keep it clean bit, man. It's
Dude,
just,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I would love to hear. I'd love to hear your experience on SNOWFALL. You were on 3 episodes as Ernesto, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct? How was your experience on that set?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was super chill. I feel like that set was very cool to just see other actors at play because I didn't have very many lines, but hey, you know, it was super cool to be a part of something so grand. But I feel like my biggest takeaway from that was the way that the writer and the actors worked hand in hand a lot on that show. It was very admirable. I like that about it, you know. There was even moments where they asked me, like, what do you think about this? Does this look dumb? Does this look cool? What would you? You're younger.
Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, looking for another perspective.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is
So I was
demographic
like,
that
whoa,
are
what?
yeah.
I'm just a day player. What are you on about? What do you want my advice for? You're in a movie. You would know.
Yeah.
Like what?
I love it.
But they would just ask for my 2 cents here and there. And I was like, okay, cool. And to get involved and to also be welcomed as well. It didn't feel like weird or anything. It just felt like, all right, I fit right in. And
That's good.
I love it. What are your thoughts on the fan casting right now for Damson Idris, who played Franklin in Snowfall, for him to be the new Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern?
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Are you?
I feel like it's up to the fans really, to kind of decide who would fit that role. Because truthfully, the fans will let you know whether they like the decision or not. We saw it with Batman. We saw it with everyone.
We saw it with the Minecraft trailer.
Yeah,
alone.
we saw it with Minecraft.
We saw
it with Borderlands.
We saw it with Sonic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Oh shoot.
What is your without obvious your two your two movies that you were obviously in? What is your favorite movie from DC that has been made over the entirety of its entire course?
My favorite movie from DC, I feel like it would have to be a tie between Dark Knight and, let me see.
Dark Knight's always a classic.
Yeah, I like Dark Knight, and that was really cool, and I actually rewatched it a lot too. But there's another one that I liked, which was shoot, it was Man of Steel, I think. Yeah, that's Superman one, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So Man of Steel was the one that I liked as well. So those were the two, I would say.
I respect that.
Dark Knight and Man of Steel. But
what did you think about the Robert Pattinson Batman movie?
Oh yeah, that was pretty sick too. I liked it. I extremely enjoyed Colin Farrell's role as Penguin. I feel like that was pretty badass.
Have you caught any of the show?
Really knocked that out
the show just started coming out. Have you caught any of the Penguin show that just started dropping?
No, not yet. Don't say nothing.
Oh, the first episode just dropped on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
It's really damn good, man. It's really good. You gotta check it out.
Yeah. What another one that I liked was Batman and Robin, I think, right? That's the one with Arnold Schwartz, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What
Mr.
a throwback.
Freeze.
Yeah, I watched that one a lot too. It's funny.
It's great.
Now with James Gunn bringing in new characters to the DC universe, are you wanting to play any DC characters on the top of your head? You've already played Pedro in the DC EU. What would you like to play, if possible, in James Gunn's DC universe?
Honestly, wherever he sees me fit, but I feel like there's room for spin-offs for Pedro Pena. I feel like there could be something for him in a series or something. But that would be up to them. I've thought about it. I was like, yo, what if Pedro Pena, like just randomly, I was just like, I was deep in thought one day. And I was like, yo, what if Pedro Pena just turned into like the assassin of the cartel? Like he just went and got rid of all the cartels so there'd be peace in Mexico. And then he became like the savior of Mexico and this and that. And that would be a cool little thing to do with the series, kind of narco-esque, but with superhero vibes.
Oh wow, that'd be awesome.
So I've thought of things like that, and also, I love Colin Farrell as Penguin, so that would be sick too to get on that show, or anything in the same likeness of the Gotham show, because dude, that show was sick. That was one of my favorites. Yeah,
that's great. Let's get into fan questions, man. We have a couple of fan questions here.
Yes. Oh goodness, hang on one second. My phone just pooped on me. Sorry.
Number one, my favorite question that we always ask is, who is your Spider-Man? Because this is always an interesting question when we ask people to see what generation they are. Like, who is your favorite Spider-Man that you think back to as a kid?
My Spider-Man when I was a kid. I mean, I'm spoiled. My uncle and my mom collected a lot of DVDs, so I would see all the movies. But for me, I feel like Andrew Garfield was probably the Spider-Man that I liked more when I was a kid.
That's a good answer.
I love it.
That's a good answer. Me personally, I'm a little bit older, so Tobey's my Spider-Man. But God, Andrew Garfield is just such a good Spider-Man.
Yep.
I do love it.
yeah, Tobey Maguire is good too. I dig it, but yeah, I grew up on Andrew Garfield because that was my age. But I did wear the costume when I was a kid too. I was a two-timer even as a baby, man. I was wearing Spider-Man and Superman outfits.
Oh yeah. If you don't have a picture from your childhood of you in a Superman, Batman, or Spider-Man costume, it's a little damaging when you get older.
Dude, I had the like web shooter that was
Oh, of
like
course.
Oh, yeah.
We're yes, without a doubt.
Yeah, I had the big Hulk hands.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those are
Uh,
my favorite.
Yeah,
man.
that's,
who are some of your favorite heroes and villains across Marvel and DC?
um, what is his name? Atrocitus, I think.
From the
Right?
Red Lanterns? Yeah,
Yeah.
Atrocitus.
Wow,
Atrocitus.
deep
That's
deep
a good
cut.
one. I've never heard a pull like that. Fucking A.
Yeah, Atrocitus is pretty sick. I feel like who else? The Flash, obviously. I mean, I like Black Flash. I believe he's Black Flash and
Mhm.
Godspeed. Those are cool characters. Jake Garrick is a
Oh, yeah.
nice one. So it's like as you can tell, I like
Of
Flash.
course.
What else? Villains, Joker.
Of course.
Um,
Gotta have him on the list.
Oh yeah.
right. Let me see. Villains. I'm excited to see what they do with the Doom stuff over on the Marvel side. That could be pretty sick.
What are your thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Doctor Doom?
Well, I love RDJ, so I don't any excuse they need. I'm all for it.
I spoken like a true Marvel
I get
fan.
it.
I love it, dude.
I
Let's
get it.
go.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
actually, I forgot to ask this earlier. Now, you were in the DCEU, and compared to the Arrowverse going on when you were growing up, watching the very beginning of Arrow and the Flash and Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, were you a fan of those shows? Like watching them?
I like Gotham. I like Flash. I watched a couple seasons of Supergirl. I wasn't that into it. I liked or what's the other one? Yeah. Shoot. What was the other one? What was the other one?
Oh, yeah.
Arrowverse. Yeah. I liked that one up until like about season 2 or 3, I think. And then I started to get bored, but that was just me.
No.
You know, I'm sure it started to get nicer
didn't.
for other people, but I just started to get uninterested. And then when they started doing the crossover stuff, what's it called? It was hard to follow, especially because I was never home all the time. I was always on set here and there, so it's hard to follow. But I did like some of the crossover episodes for the Flash and on Arrowverse and Supergirl, and I watched.
Of course you couldn't watch it. You were winning Imaging Awards, and you were being a part of gigantic motion pictures like SHAZAM, and you were on the set of Shameless and SNOWFALL and everything. You were in the middle.
So honestly, I dreaded those episodes because like, shoot, it's gonna throw me for a loop.
I understand. I respect that. Okay, so I'm gonna completely ignore that one because I already know the answer. Because Marvel or DC, it's obviously DC, my dog.
Like I'm a 2-timer, dog. I can't say it.
I understand. Your cartoon crush as a kid, like who's your crush growing up?
I don't. This might be. The villain from Sky High. I don't know.
Oh my goodness!
No hesitation.
Yeah.
Okay, so she also played Huntress in the Emancipation Harley Quinn movie. Kate. Oh no, she was also Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my childhood crush for sure. Like I was like, yo, a female villain,
dude. That's genuinely
Yep.
the best answer we've ever gotten, because that's not even something people could be like, what, or argue, because the second you're like, yo, her name was Gwen, that's her name, her I can't remember her villain name, but she was Gwen the senior.
Yeah. All I remember from that movie is
yes, dude, absolutely. That was Jim Rash, who was the dean
Pelton.
from Dean Pelton from Community. Oh, well.
Dude, I love that movie. I honestly wish they would do another one or like something similar.
There were rumors that Disney Plus was talking about it, and this is September 25th. Is it the 25th right now? Right? Yeah, September 25th, 2024. The Saturday Morning Cartoon Boys are endorsing Jovan Armand to be in Sky High, the series, because apparently it was supposed to be some of the cast coming back to be teachers for the high school or for a college, kind of like a Disney version of Gen V. But that was like episode 60.
Oh yeah, Gen V gave me those vibes too.
That was like episode 60 when we covered it. Actually, that was I think the release of the Percy Jackson series. So that's how long ago it's been. Okay, so how old are you, my friend?
I'm
Okay,
24.
so
Yeah.
you have been here through the encompassment of Power Rangers, still through Mighty Morphin and so on. Who was your favorite Power Ranger growing up? That
The green one.
R.I.P. J. Steeler Frank. That's my
Yeah.
dog. He
R.I.P.
knows good answers. This man has talent.
Yeah.
He
may
has
rest in
knowledge.
peace.
He has skill. He's handsome. He can do it all. Give him a contract. I want it. Oh, let's go, dude. Okay. You got to tell me right now, Nickelodeon or Disney? What was your favorite watching growing up? Because you were on both.
Yeah, no. Truthfully, I watched a lot more Disney when I was younger. But even when I was like a baby, I watched Elmo.
Oh, of course.
So I was a Sesame Street kid
Dude,
first.
Elmo goes to Garbage Land was amazing growing up as a kid, dude. That was the best VHS of all time.
I had bugged my mom all Christmas for a Tickle Me Elmo, and she finally got me.
I love it.
And what else? What else did I watch? So I went from like Sesame Street to Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and then on the Nickelodeon side, I like Big Time Rush. That was my thing.
Solomon concert last year, my friend. They were incredible. I won't even lie. It was I got there so early that we were so close. Like it was otherworldly. They were the nicest people. Like I was probably maybe 15 feet from Logan and Kendall on the stage. Yeah, my homegirl was like, "Yo, I have tickets. Do you want to go with me to Big Time Rush?" And I was like, "Fuck you, really?" Yeah, we were talking to Steven Gilman. I always forget how to pronounce his last name. He was Gustavo Rock on Big Time Rush. I'm talking to him right now by getting him on the podcast. So if I do, I will have him.
Oh, is that the guy that played the
Yes,
the
Gustavo.
manager?
Yes, from Rock Records.
I have his number as well. I just met him last year actually, and yeah, he was genuine. I told him too. I was like I was a big time fan of Big Time Rush. I'm geeking out right now, bro.
He's a stand-up comedian. And he's incredible. Nice. He just put up a new stand-up special 3 months ago, and I had watched it. And I was like, we have to have Gustavo Rock on the podcast, dude. Like it was in the midst of me rewatching the whole series again. Like it's too damn good. Big Time Rush is just a solid answer, ladies and gentlemen. This man knows good answers and he knows heat.
Yeah, I used to actually watch. This is crazy, like. This is not even my era, but I used to watch He-Man and a lot of PBS shows too. Like I was on Cyber Chase. Yeah. I used to watch that all the time.
Oh yes, dude.
Dude, I love Cyber Chase.
Yeah, Cyber Chase was my jam, and some other shows on there. But He-Man was on a lot of my grandpa's.
Did you have the chance to audition for the He-Man show that they're making at the moment?
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
No.
Just wanted to ask, just in case. Drop a little exclusive just for us that we'll cut.
Right.
Okay. So your favorite video game? You've talked about how big you've been to video games. We've gotten the Jack and Daxter series, Ratchet and Clank. 3 weeks in, our last episode said he was a huge Gears of War fan. What is something monumental for you as a video game?
For me, I'm waiting for GTA 6. I've been waiting for it for a minute now. I've been playing GTA 5 since I was 13. I'm 24 now. It's about time.
Hey man, I hate to tell you this. We're gonna get a live in-person interview with Jovan Armand before we get GTA 6.
Right? That's what it is. We're gonna like. But Rockstar, that's one thing I love about Rockstar is they take their time and they don't give a schnozberry what anyone else says because they want to get it right. And that's respectable for me because there's not a lot of game developers that do that, you know. And Skyrim also is a big one too. I played that a lot on the PS3 when I was younger. That was shown to me by my uncle over in Florida. He had a whole cool setup at his house, and I played Skyrim on the TV, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Why are uncles always so good at showing you the coolest shit?
Right.
Right. I mean, my uncle that I live with now, he gave me my first video game ever, which was Raccoon, or on the PS2 or PS3, I don't remember, but
Sly Cooper.
It was Raccoon City.
Resident Evil. Even better. He said Raccoon. Wow. I thought it was like Sly Cooper. Even better, Resident Evil. That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Now. Goodness gracious. So you've done a lot of acting over the years. Can you see yourself, or do you want to introduce yourself into voice acting towards animation and video games?
Yeah, I've actually been looking into getting my voiceover reels done. I want to get some demos going so that I have stuff to show that I'm capable of making unique voices. Excuse me, but yeah, that is something I want to delve into because there is a lot of coolness in animation, especially I look at Jack Black as an idol a lot too. He does a lot of voiceover. Um, I forget the actor that did
Gilbert
Cyber
Gottfried.
Chase, the little birdie.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Huh?
Yes,
Gilbert Gottfried.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So
R.I.P.
he's an amazing, RIP. He's an amazing voice actor. So I wanted to kind of get into that. Eventually, it's just a matter of me picking up that skill and honing it and getting really involved and
Yeah,
learning.
I would love to see you in a new DC animated project. You could be
Cool.
anything in a DC animated project. If Jensen Ackles can be Batman, you could be anything.
I love it.
Right, dude. I joke with my friends. I'm gonna be like when I get older. I want to be the all knowing.
Oh, that'd be great. Like,
Incredible.
what is Jovan doing nowadays? Oh, you didn't hear? He's the new Batman. You go back to like your 20-year high school reunion or something. He's like, "What are you? I'm the new Batman for DC." Yeah,
Well, he'd be
for the
wearing
animated.
the cowl when he goes back.
Yeah, he shows up in the Batmobile. Now you had said that your uncle has shown you Skyrim and playing for the PS2 and this, that, and the other. What is your first console that you had, and what is your favorite console?
My first console that I had was whatever Leapfrog was on. I think it was the PS1.
Oh, Frogger.
Or no, was that the one with the little
No,
square thing?
Sega. You had a
That was
Sega
Sega,
Genesis.
And I played. Yeah, I think that's what it was, Sega Genesis. So I plugged in the thingy thangity, and then I opened the little thingy thangity. I put the disc and or no,
Cartridge.
I put the card. It was like a card video game and a card port for the controller. And I was playing Leapfrog with Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and
Yeah.
all them.
I
Yeah,
love it,
That's
dude.
great.
Gang.
so that was my.
What was
first
your
video game.
favorite console?
My favorite console as a kid was probably the Wii, believe it or not. And for whatever reason, I was really good at Call of Duty on the Wii, and that sounds crazy. to
Having
say
the
because
gun, having the gun motion or the gun sensor thing was great, dude. That was
That's
amazing.
crazy.
That was like having the crossbow for Legend of Zelda, or having like the baseball or anything cool for like Wii Sports Resort. My mother and I. Well, my mom and I can still 93 episodes in. We will bet anybody any money that we can be any duo in Wii Sports in Wii
That's
bowling.
so funny.
Oh,
The only Wii games I ever
That's
got to
dope.
play, my sister bought a Wii when we were kids, and the only game she owned every Just Dance they ever made for the Wii.
that is
Every
true.
single one. And let me tell you, I'm damn good at Just Dance. To this day, I'm 29 years old now. I am damn good at Just Dance. Like, only thing I ever got to play on the Wii, period.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing Call of Duty with the like shooting people like a wizard, dude. I was casting spells.
Yeah,
at
it sounds so much cooler than what I got to do. It was like hitting the Rasputin or whatever.
More accurate too.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Let's go. Now, okay, so across music, you have a song out with the game. You are killing it musically. You have a new single called "Believe It," ladies and gentlemen. The link will be in the description below. Everyone, go check it out right now. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Heavy with the game, killing it. Still love that damn song. It's still in my likes. Because I'm that person that doesn't have playlists. I shuffle through my liked songs of like 13 of like 3,000 songs. I'm that type of person.
Good
No,
Lord.
yeah. Can you tell us about any new music coming?
Yeah, so I'm kind of testing some of my songs. October 4th, I have a performance in
Yes.
Riverside. It's my first headlining show. That's gonna be super cool. It's called the Brew Crew exhibition. There's gonna be art. There's gonna be vendors for food, tacos, whatever you want, drinks. It's an all ages thing. It's kind of gonna be where I experiment with my sound and see what songs is gonna be next, because I have one right now that's called SINS, and that's an acronym. It stands for Suddenly I'm Not Sorry. It's a song that's just kind of like, I'm not sorry for pursuing my career and for pushing myself forward from the chains that were holding me back. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the vibe, and I feel like that would be the next one for me. It's also more West Coast type of stuff. It's got a very like almost
The,
like
the
head nod type of
bouncy
vibe.
West Coast style. Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of them, and then I have another one which is kind of like a song about an ex situationship. So it's called Fool, which is an acronym as well, called Falling Out of Love. And that one, I'm still trying to get a hold of the producer. So Lansky, if you see this, hit me up though.
Hit him up, Lansky. Let's go.
But yeah, I'm trying to. Right, Lansky, where you at?
Oh,
But yeah, so I'm trying to get that song going. That would be my first time delving into a little bit of singing,
ooh.
which is kind of diving out of my comfort zone because I only sing
I
in
respect
shower.
that. That's I am now in the part of my music career where I am singing more often than I am writing like raps. And it is very, very challenging right now. Like so the last time I saw you, I was in the midst of I just dropped the pop punk album. It finally has over like 100,000 streams on the entire album. We've dropped a mixtape recently. I will send you some songs hopefully so you can be on them.
Nice.
But I can't wait to hear another album from you. We haven't had anything since 2018, my friend. I'm telling you right now, as a fan, drop a new album, please.
Right.
Also, how do you pronounce it? The album.
Which one? Basik? That one is
Basik. I told you.
Yeah, that's definitely what you said it was.
I did.
Yeah, it's definitely how you pronounce
I went.
it.
Yeah, I went. Basike. Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love it, man. Everything
great,
that
man.
you are doing lately, we are so proud of you.
Right.
Seeing you.
Yep.
Continue your growth as a man, as an actor, as a musician. We have nothing but love and respect for you over here, my friend. You are killing it, and we will always give flowers where credit is due. Before we get you out of here, just real quick, who is the GOAT of all time in music?
As far as rap, or
music
just
in general.
Music in general. I guess it would have to be Taylor Swift, right? Right? That's kind of like the stats, the top of the chain in the stats, right?
That's a diplomatic answer.
I'll allow the answer because you're not.
I don't listen to any of her songs.
You're not. Yeah, you're not
the top
accurately
dog,
wrong. Doesn't mean you have to be tonally correct.
shoot.
I understand. Yeah.
That's the GOAT of the people. My GOAT is different.
What is your GOAT?
My GOAT would probably be Eminem.
Okay, see, I understand. I respect that. Jovan, I don't have any more questions for you. Ray, what about you?
I think I'm out, man.
I think
it's a
I'm
pleasure having you.
Dude, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, my friend. Truly, it has been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, go check out his new song, Believe It. Any new music that has come out, Jovan Armand, please, everyone, go listen to it. Stream it anywhere you can on all streaming platforms, from Amazon, Tidal, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, you name it, it's going to be there. Jovan, it is an absolute pleasure, my friend. We wish you nothing but the best, and we cannot wait to see what is next from you. And when we see you at a new premiere, when we're interviewing people at the red carpet, I can't wait to give you a full hug and say hi to your mother. So, you drink plenty of water. Please be safe. Give your mother a hug from us. Tell her she's very, very welcome in Arkansas anytime she wants to, both you as well. And have a good rest of your day, my friend.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate the interview. You guys have a good rest of your day. And yeah, you guys check me out. Jovan Armand Official on Instagram. Everything else, Jovan Armand. And if you have HBO or Hulu, go watch SHAZAM 1 and 2.
Bow, ladies and gentlemen. It is perfect.
It.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been
Thanks
Saturday
for being
morning.
Here, buddy.
This has been Saturday Morning Cartoons. Jovan Armand is one of the greatest guests we've ever had. A legend in the making, everyone. Go check him out now. I have been Doug. Next to me is the greatest best friend of all time, Ray McFlurry II. And we will see you guys next time.
Hey, what happened? Why are those squiggles on the screen?
Those are called end credits, Patrick.
End credits? But I don't want it to end!